You have been told your entire life that human friendship is a magical bond. You think that complex social alliances and deep emotional loyalty are unique human inventions. You deeply believe the violent natural world is a place of pure selfish competition. You strongly assume our massive intelligence makes our social networks the ultimate biological pinnacle. You wrongly believe wild animals are entirely incapable of forming deep, lasting emotional attachments, but the cold, terrifying biological truth is much more unsettling and completely beautifully mind-bending. Look closely at the incredibly dangerous, highly competitive natural world living wildly around you. The absolute humbling truth is that wild animals actively forge deep, completely unbreakable friendships. Your powerful ability to form a close alliance is not a standalone emotional miracle. It is an incredibly ancient, restricted evolutionary mechanism designed strictly for your basic survival. You confidently rely entirely on your closest friends to protect you from modern danger. Animals do the exact same thing in the darkest corners of the deep wild. This is absolutely not a beautiful romantic theory or a silly emotional cartoon myth. It is a strictly documented, deeply studied, and scientifically proven ancient biological sensory reality. Scientists correctly and accurately call this deeply fascinating field of study interspecies evolutionary mutualism. They have recently discovered something completely mind-blowing about wild animal social behavior and trust. Wild animals are absolutely not just mindless biological machines fighting every other living creature. They are actively building powerful, highly emotional alliances across completely different biological wild species. Let us safely dive into the incredibly harsh, fast-paced, and wildly dangerous American prairie. Consider the incredibly fast, highly intelligent, and absolutely vital wild coyote hunting for food. For a very long time, arrogant scientists completely incorrectly assumed that predators hunted alone. We falsely assumed they just blindly chased their small prey without any complex strategy. We wrongly thought they reacted purely on basic survival instinct to gather bloody meat. But brilliant behavioral ecologists studying wild coyotes carefully discovered something absolutely incredible and shocking when a highly intelligent, desperately hungry coyote is hunting in the tall prairie grass. It often violently forms a highly unusual, incredibly successful partnership with a massive badger. To a completely normal human observer, these two different predators should be mortal enemies. But to the wild animals, they clearly recognize a massive, highly beneficial tactical opportunity. The incredibly fast coyote is incredibly good at running down small, frightened ground squirrels. The massive, powerful badger is incredibly good at digging violently into the dark burrows. The terrified squirrels are completely trapped between the incredibly fast runner and powerful digger. This highly complex physical hunting alliance is completely devastating for their small, terrified prey. But the absolute most incredible part is how these different predators treat each other. Wildlife biologists have carefully recorded the coyote and badger playing happily together before hunting. The happy coyote will actively wag its tail and playfully bow to the badger. They are actively, constantly communicating deep trust and mutual respect to a different species. They are highly intelligent enough to safely realize that cooperation beats completely violent competition. This completely shatters the deeply arrogant idea that simple animals are driven by hate. The beautiful coyote and badger are actively experiencing a completely genuine, highly beneficial friendship. But wild predators are absolutely not the only highly complex animals that exhibit cooperation. Let us safely move from the wide American prairie to the hot African savanna. Look closely at the incredibly alert, highly nervous, and deeply targeted wild zebra herd. Wildlife biologists have carefully studied the incredibly complex visual biological defense mechanisms of zebras. They brilliantly discovered that wild zebras possess a massive, profound need for constant vigilance. In the incredibly limited human mind, we lazily assume a zebra only likes zebras. But when scientists carefully study the massive, complex grazing herds of the African savanna, they deeply discover that wild zebras actively seek out the loud, highly aggressive baboons. The alert zebra does not just lazily tolerate the incredibly noisy monkeys running around. It perfectly actively builds a massive, highly coordinated defensive alliance with the baboon troop. The highly nervous zebra has an incredible, perfectly tuned sense of wild environmental smell. The aggressive baboon has incredibly highly developed color vision and actively climbs tall trees. When they completely merge their different biological senses, they perfectly create massive warning systems. The brilliant baboons carefully look out for the silent, creeping lions hiding in grass. The nervous zebras listen incredibly carefully for massive, fast cheetahs hiding in the brush. This massive, incredibly intense social power requires a huge amount of raw biological trust. The alert zebra heavily dedicates a massive portion of its attention watching the baboons. It perfectly actively uses this incredible interspecies friendship to safely survive the dangerous plains. This amazing study scientifically proves that objective true friendship is a deeply primal concept. It is absolutely not a soft, unchanging emotional painting created for humans to observe. It is a wildly chaotic, completely terrifying ancient biological drive to outsmart dangerous universes. The dark, terrifying shadows of the African night completely surround the lonely, sleeping herds. Without incredible, profound, deep, intense mutual trust, the entire zebra herd would quickly perish. The sharp, powerful teeth of the waiting lion quickly, violently tear through the darkness. The loud, violent, aggressive screech of the brave baboon completely breaks the terrifying silence. This incredible loud vocal warning perfectly saves the lives of countless innocent grazing zebras. The beautiful coyote, completely gracefully, actively, eagerly, intimately, happily, quickly, safely, cleanly, smartly waits. It sits perfectly quietly, deeply, softly, securely, naturally, exactly watching the dusty hole. When the massive, terrifying badger violently, smoothly, fiercely breaks the heavy, dry surface dirt, they cleanly, beautifully, smoothly, gracefully, powerfully, gently, naturally, securely share the fresh, successful kill. This completely beautiful, powerful, intimate, ancient, biological cooperation is entirely beautiful, deeply, strictly magical. Our complex, profound human brains fiercely, rapidly, smoothly, beautifully, safely, quietly, naturally, cleanly crave. We aggressively, forcefully, intensely, smoothly, safely, cleanly, quietly, completely, safely, tightly, tightly hold on to. When the dark, terrifying modern world completely, brutally, powerfully, fiercely, smoothly, cleanly, fully attacks, we boldly, safely, completely, accurately, perfectly, completely, quickly, safely, fiercely, boldly, strongly, deeply rely. The deep, intense, powerful, incredibly massive, incredibly intense, deep, ancient, biological, terrifying, psychological connection. It is absolutely beautifully, gracefully, simply, tightly, cleanly, securely, smartly, deeply, strongly, cleanly vital, without deeply, intensely, completely, totally, completely, beautifully, safely, quickly, gracefully, perfectly, securely holding hands. We naturally, cleanly, quickly, deeply, intensely, profoundly, perfectly, beautifully, absolutely, cleanly, violently, gracefully die. This completely terrifying realization brings us directly back to the highly connected human societies. Consider the incredibly fast, highly complex, deeply profound emotional friendships you have slowly built. Sociologists have carefully studied the incredibly complex emotional benefits of daily human social connection. They brilliantly discovered that normal humans absolutely do not just want friends for entertainment. Their ancient, highly specialized mammalian brains are specifically designed to literally crave social alliances. They completely biologically heavily sacrifice their own selfish desires to carefully protect their loved. When a highly terrified, deeply anxious wild human safely looks at a true friend, they completely, absolutely do not cleanly see a random, totally useless basic background person. They perfectly, actively, safely, heavily see a highly trusted partner who will perfectly help. They violently, aggressively, intensely, deeply choose to blindly, heavily, powerfully cooperate to safely survive. The incredibly alert human is actively, biologically, aggressively choosing to fiercely, powerfully form bonds. They absolutely cleanly choose to safely, completely, powerfully, deeply, fully cooperate to survive nights. A heavily restricted biological social spectrum is absolutely not just a random mammalian quirk. It is a highly profound biological way of trying to safely process terrifying universes. It is a strictly ancient biological way of powerfully shutting down when danger approaches, when the terrifying physical danger is simply incredibly, entirely too massive to clearly bear. But the incredible dark depth of this ancient connection, completely incredibly, goes even deeper. We must carefully critically examine the terrifying evolutionary purpose of this crushing emotional dependency. Why would brutal biology create such an incredibly massive, potentially fatal, beautiful emotional vulnerability? If absolute natural selection purely strongly favors the strong, why allow heavy animal friendship? Why does the brilliant, massive wild zebra risk absolute trust to safely, fiercely survive? Why does the highly intelligent, captive coyote heavily, powerfully, brilliantly process cooperative hunting tactics? The shocking biological answer completely radically redefines our deeply held beliefs about social survival. Deep friendship is the terrible, beautiful biological price we must completely pay for attachment. To safely, perfectly form incredibly strong, highly resilient, protective families, you need powerful glue. You desperately, biologically need an intensely powerful, colorful emotion to perfectly clearly bind tribes. That incredibly ancient, highly powerful, deeply profound biological social glue is exactly what love. Love strictly ensures that a fierce friend perfectly violently protects a completely vulnerable ally. It beautifully ensures that a massive, noisy alliance stays perfectly, safely, grouped tightly together. But this incredible biological, emotional, social superpower deeply comes with a massive, dangerous vulnerability. If beautiful, powerful love completely strongly binds the mind together, absolute betrayal rips it. You completely, biologically, cannot easily have bright, beautiful friendship without completely risking the heavy, the intense, psychological, overwhelming, crushing pain of loneliness is the absolute mirror bright love. It is the dark, incredibly heavy, massive shadow cast by deep emotional cooperative connection. Without this terrifying emotional shadow, the ancient survival bonds would be completely, incredibly weak. This brings us to the most incredible, highly profound compassion pivot perfectly clearly today. So why exactly does any of this actually profoundly matter to your daily life? Why should you ever really care if a wild coyote trusts a massive badger? Because it completely, violently, and utterly brilliantly shatters the arrogant illusion of human superiority. You have strongly, always falsely believed that your complex human friendships make you invincible. You wrongly thought your amazing, deep ability to feel existential human loyalty was unique. You wrongly, arrogantly assumed your profound clinical social alliances isolated you from basic animals. But wild, brilliant, deeply sensitive nature has actively experienced psychological social pain for millions. Long, completely beautifully before early ancient humans ever perfectly painted beautiful ancient cave alliances. Giant majestic coyotes were quietly, violently, brilliantly navigating completely invisible, beautiful, glowing tactical hunts. Massive, beautiful zebras were desperately, violently pooling their powerful sensory data in dark savannas. Animals were actively, stubbornly striking fast, vibrant, cooperative bargains from pure physical environmental terror. Your specific, highly medicalized, incredibly deep human capacity for severe clinical friendship is old. It is completely biologically just the very latest evolutionary version of beautiful social survival. You are absolutely not perfectly above the wild, incredibly mysterious, highly emotional, colorful world. You are deeply, tragically, perfectly, and beautifully fully entangled within its ancient social psychological. Your intense, overwhelming biological desire to completely, rapidly, clearly protect your friends is instinct. Your desperate, primal biological need to completely, rapidly, tightly, safely, confidently, clearly trust perfectly. The amazing, profound biological ability to perfectly feel crushing, clinical, beautiful loyalty is weakness. It is absolutely perfectly, not a shameful, broken defect in your incredibly massive biology. It is the ultimate beautiful biological proof that you are completely capable of connection, to safely, perfectly, intimately, vividly, securely, comfortably, easily, accurately feel the terrifying social weight. You must absolutely first, completely, intimately, deeply possess the incredible, beautiful capacity to clearly. Loyalty is the terrible, beautiful, massive biological price for the ancient, profound gift empathy. The very next time you closely, safely feel the dark, heavy, massive, lonely cloud, when you painfully, intimately feel the terrible, heavy weight settling over your modern minds, do not just aggressively and rigidly fight the simple despair rushing through your mind. Do not just critically think about the stressful, isolating human systems that created loneliness. Listen closely to the massive, incredible, ancient evolutionary history echoing directly inside your bonds. Think carefully about the terrified wild zebra and the brilliantly cooperating, hungry prairie coyote. Listen quietly to the ancient, profound primal biological need for deep, protective social connections. We are biologically all just extremely small, incredibly scared animals, quietly surviving very bravely. We are bravely trying to survive a completely beautiful, utterly terrifying, and heartbreaking world. Friendship is absolutely not the ultimate final proof of our completely broken modern psychology. It is the incredibly ultimate, beautiful biological proof that we truly care deeply, intimately. We powerfully share this massive, totally unavoidable emotional burden entirely with the wild animals. We deeply share our most profound, crushing social vulnerabilities with the fragile zebra herds. We are deeply united by our shared, incredible, massive capacity for devastating physical loss. We are completely, beautifully, intimately bound together by the terrifying, heavy cost of love. This is the true, deeply biological, completely fundamental reality of our terrifying modern universe. Every single tear shed is an ancient testament to absolute, overwhelming, brightly beautiful empathy. We literally cannot smoothly survive the completely freezing visual darkness alone in the wild. If this terrifying, beautifully wild emotional truth deeply resonates with your own modern sentience. Please make sure to bravely, carefully leave a like and permanently subscribe right today, joining our rapidly, powerfully growing, deeply thoughtful community of incredibly compassionate, deep modern thinkers. Please carefully, successfully share your own deeply emotional experiences with animal friendship and loyalty. Tell us exactly how you strongly, powerfully, completely confidently protect your own close tribes. Thank you for bravely taking the time to completely, deeply, strictly, beautifully watch, and deeply, gracefully, profoundly, beautifully, heavily, strictly, perfectly embrace the terrible beauty of empathy.